Hello new and returning Gunters. The open beta test is nigh and I'm doing one brief video to get you prepared regardless if you are joining us tonight on PS5 or 2 days later. As always, this footage belongs to the Gamescom build that I got access thanks to Capcom. Thank goodness this is going to be the very last time using it because I'm going to record everything I can these days. In fact, I will be streaming here in YouTube tomorrow, be sure to check and say hello. First I will be streaming when the beta launches and then in the afternoon that will be in the morning of America. Let's get into matters after this small intro. Here I'm going to review the control sheet, the hunting guide and do a brief description of the important combos and battle flow and hints I have learnt during these months. I will be also listing the hunting notes you can check during the game for more details and how they are performed. In Gamescom we got these sheets with all the basic moves and explications for each weapon. For newcomers to using the Gunlance, the most important thing that takes away Gunlance for all the other weapons in Monster Hunter and other games are the ammo types. Gunlance uses 3 types of ammo. First are the shells. The staple Gunlance attack shelling has the peculiarity of ignoring the toughness of the zones of the monster you are hitting with them. This means they will always do a similar damage regardless of where you hit the monsters. Before Wilds shells also were unaffected by your weapon attack value and couldn't be buffed. But now it is different and can be buffed. You can for example pair your Gunlance with a hunting horn and get a big chunk of extra damage. Gunlance's shelling also has a bit of fire damage that can affect things like being able to burn grass, and it is affected by the resistances of monsters. Shelling ammo is used in 3 different attacks. First are the standard shells done by just tapping the shell button. This one consumes 1 single shell and is the weakest but faster shell attack. Its biggest used is to combo into other attacks. The most important is the brand new moving wide sweep that is a long-range melee attack with a good punch and that also combos into your finishers. A new quality of the shell's attacks is that you can now move a bit after using them by holding your movement stick. This makes shells an incredible tool to move around. The next shelling using attack are the charged shells. You do them by holding the shell button at any moment. You could shell regularly. Charging shells stores your shells into your chambers and you fire them all, dealing more damage and more range. You can charge any amount of shells from 2 to all 6 and can cancel them at any moment by evading. They are a lot stronger, more than 1/2 than shooting just 1 shell, and have the same follow-ups. They also fill the Wyvern gauge a lot. They are worth using even with the standard Gunlance. Finally there is the burst fire attack. Done by hitting the shelling button after a slam type attack. You unless all your shells at once and each also deal extra damage with the starting normal shell type. In Wilds there are lots of ways to quickly perform a slam, like after a perfect guard or from jumping out of secret. It is a quick and strong move for upfront damage. To recover spent shells you must use either a reload or a quick reload, or an empty clip reload that is not listed in the guides. Reloads and quick reloads are performed the same way of holding the button you use to guard plus the shell button. The difference is quick reload is done after any other attack. Quick reload, as the name says, is faster but doesn't recover your stake. That is what I will be talking about soon. Quick reload main use is also being able to combo into the slam and then a full burst. New in Wilds is that both types of reload include a guard point. If you are hit while reloading you will recover your shells and go into a perfect guard. This is going to be an important thing to master in Wilds since you can guard and reload 2 in 1 and initiate strong offensive from it. The final type of reload is done when you try to shell without any shells. Instead you will perform a variant of the quick reload that doesn't have the option to slam. It is a good move if you have to evade or guard after a burst, allowing you to quickly recover your shells. A final note about shelling is that it no longer spends sharpness. Use it a lot if you are about to hit yellow sharpness. The second shot type is the wormstake cannon. It is performed by pressing your melee attack button, triangle in PS5, after any of the sweep attacks. Most of the damage from the stake is physical, with just the last explosion being of the same type of shells. The stake is a strong follow-up and also combos into the fast Wyvern Fire. But it is not your only option from a sweep to fire it. New to Wilds it is the wormstake full blast that is a combination of both burst fire and wormstake. It is performed by hitting both buttons after any sweep. It is a big all-in-one, even including guard point. Furthermore, if you hit any button after the first blast you will do a full reload and do it once again. This makes strategic to instead going for burst fire or wormstake to go directly into these new. The trade-off is that they are slower and you aren't protected for all of it. Mastering this move is another of the cornerstones of Wilds Gunlance. Use it. The final Gunlance ammo is Wyvern Fire. Wyvern Fire is your ultimate move. It is the far strongest and hit at a ridiculously long distance. But it is very limited with up to 2 uses stores and also recovered slowly. You can accelerate the recovery of Wyvern Fire by attacking. Charged shells, guard clushes and wormstake full blast are very effective at recovering your gauge. Wyvern Fire also comes in 2 versions, a slow and a fast one. The slow is highly unsafe and takes 4 whole seconds to fire, that is an age. This is the one you fire normally like hitting both buttons while guarding. The fast version is mainly performed after any of 3 stake-like attacks, full blast, wormstake or the focus attack, and it takes half the time to fire, about 2 seconds. You always should go into the fast version as a combo finisher whenever it is available because the power is worth it. There are 2 other ways to do the fast version. One is after performing a perfect guard. While Wyvern Fire has no guard point, you can just perfect guard an attack and then WF for something similar. The other is just that after either the fast or the slow Wyvern Fire, if you fire it again it will be the fast one. It is a good thing to fire both Wyvern Fires one after the other. These are all your ammo, and the wonderful thing in Wilds is that all these are parts of your combos. There are 2 bread and butter combos in Wilds. The first one is to do either a regular or a charged shell and then moving sweep into wormstake full blast and then finish into Wyvern Fire. This is fast and is more shell based. The other is to do a upswing or a lunge attack and then follow with slam, sweep and once again wormstake full blast and Wyvern Fire. This is a lot slower but includes more melee attacks that do extra damage on wounded parts. From these there are countless variations that I gathered into a table. A fun alternative for example is a single shell, sweep, stake and then Wyvern Fire. That is the quickest way into the fast Wyvern Fire. A perfect guard is also good to follow with a slam and then decide if you want to burst or go straight into sweep and full blast. Gunlance is very free form for combos. In my limited experience before the beta test, poke shell seems slower than before, but you now can after running out of shells to follow up with moving sweep and then stake or blast. Poke shelling may be good for small opening or to make use of the moving shells to get into a good position for the slower parts of the combo. This is the battle plan for Gunlance. You use low commit attacks fishing for an opening and then upload hell on the monster. A big difference in Wilds is that guard is almost instant after most attacks. So you can start with attacks like upswing and slam, and if you see the monster about to attack, guard it, and with good timing will turn into a perfect guard. Then from the perfect guard you can slam again and make use of the time that takes to the monster to recover to do your slower combos. Be brave with your offense and just be aware of the monster to be ready at any moment to guard and then continue dealing the pain. A final note before closing is that please, be aware you can hit the other hunters with your Wyvern Fire. You can aim and angle up your Wyvern Fire while charging it, so do it and not be too toxic. Thanks for your cooperation. And this is all. I will be streaming the beta in a few hours. Be sure to drop in or check the stream after. Thanks for watching. And see you in the hunt.